Welcome back to Action Jack-0ffs, the show where we talk about the very best and favorite action movies of all time. Today we're going to be looking at one that I did not foresee being on the Action Jack-0ffs pantheon, but that is going to be Inception, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, written and directed by Christopher Nolan, prolific auteur Christopher Nolan.
I had to get one of his movies in here somehow.
I'm surprised it wasn't The Dark Knight, I'll be honest.
I just, they thought we weren't doing superhero movies.
We did Hulk.
Oh, fuck, we did do Hulk. But I feel like The Dark Knight, even though it's The Dark Knight and all of the Batman, I don't really feel like it's very, very good action set pieces. It's more about the performances.
I don't know,
the
dude.
Joker.
The scene where he's like the final climactic battle with the Joker, and the highway scene. With
Well, that's not the climax.
That's no, I'm talking about like two separate scenes. I'm trying to list
Oh,
off
okay.
as many scenes as I can.
Yeah, I mean, there's all the fighting in the Dark Knight Rises and all the ninja stuff
The
and the
parking,
Batman Begins.
the parking garage in the beginning of The Dark Knight.
I'm not wearing hockey pants.
Yeah, exactly. And it's an action crime movie. It's just interesting that of the many option of the well, not many, but of the options that we had for.
I mean, you could say Dunkirk, but that's more of a war movie.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was just thinking about that too. I was like, Dunkirk is another Christopher Nolan movie, but it's go back to Google. Yeah, it's a war action movie, Like
Well, see,
he's got some action movies under his belt.
it's in there.
Yeah, it's in
I
there.
just felt like when I was looking through them, I was like, I feel like this is an actual like spy thriller action movie compared to all of his other ones.
You're right. Yeah, and plus Inception, I think has, in terms of its set pieces, has is not limited to reality the same way that something like Dark Knight is. Like Dark Knight has, and I'm just using Dark Knight as an example because that was the first thing I brought up, is that Dark Knight is a comic book movie, so it has like some flexibility in its rule sets, in its reality bending and stuff like that. But Inception, basically being about dreams and being in the dream world, is allowed to get away with more things that are a little bit out there, right? Like there's that sequence with Gordon Levitt where he's like, no, there's no gravity, and he has to find a way to wake everybody up by strapping bombs to the elevator and just doing stuff like that. And that's the first thing that comes to my mind when I'm like, oh, that's unique as in terms of an action set piece. And he's fighting that one guy, and the room keeps
Yeah,
like
just the fight
spinning.
for the zero gravity.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
and
it.
and plus Leonardo DiCaprio is always doing some kind of like action maneuver or something like that. But whenever I think about Inception, I initially
He's
don't
he's
think about the action. Like the action never.
it's such a good story.
It's got a good story. Honestly, I have not seen this movie since it came out, so that was like 15 years ago. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it just had its 15th year anniversary, which is another reason I wanted to talk about it because I wanted to be like, I remember watching this when I was 11 when it came out and being like, I don't get it.
Yeah, right. Like, what is this? Because the movie has some of those elements to it that are like, uh, very Christopher Nolan, very kind of like out of sequence, but the sequencing breaks come from the transitions between dream and reality. Um, and the movie does like such a good job of making you feel like no matter what you do, you're not really, no matter what realm of reality you're in, you never really feel like you're in reality, um even when you're supposed to be, which we can get to at a certain point. But I figured now would be a good time for me to just kind of like go ahead and um get like our initial thoughts, and then I'll jump into my podcast questions that I've got queued up here.
You got podcast questions?
Yeah, I got questions because we did this in the last episode. which if you haven't seen, you guys should go check out.
Oh yes, yes.
Um, and I know that was like 3 weeks ago, and it took me a while to even get around to this movie, but um,
It's months at this point, but that's why it's a year-long project, you know.
yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like I if it weren't for the fact that my schedule is so out of whack, and the fact that uh, you barely know what your schedule is, a weeks at a time. Um,
I know.
that it's just kind of hard for it. One, it's hard for me to sit down and watch a whole movie by myself if it's not part of some already previously established plan of movies I'm watching. Um, so anyway, that's just par for the course at this point. So it's kind of slow going getting to the end of this series. But last podcast we did, which we did on a cliffhanger, I did this format where I asked questions, and I think it came out really nicely. So I thought it would just be best to go ahead and try it again.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was months. I just
It
forgot.
was 3
I like it.
weeks. It was 3 weeks, you freak.
That's when the video was posted. That's not when it was recorded.
I think I did a pretty good job of getting that one posted the next day. Let's not get too
I just feel
crazy.
like you were over. I just feel like you were over here watching Cliffhanger ages ago.
It was no It Man. Uh,
Yeah.
It Man took forever to
Were you
get
just
uploaded.
about to post it?
I genuinely, you texted me, you're like, hey, so what's up with It Man? I was like, what do you mean? You're like, it's not on your YouTube
I'm just
channel.
waiting to watch it.
And I was like, oh shit. Yeah, I forgot all about that. But anyway, initial thoughts, Inception, go.
It took me a few tries to watch it growing up, but once I really got into watching the Christopher Nolan movies, it became very quickly one of my favorites. It's easily the one that I feel like everybody makes fun of, which is another reason that I wanted to talk about it versus like The Dark Knight or Dunkirk or one of the other ones.
Right.
I always thought it was very touching. I very much enjoy that even though it's dreams, it's not like psychedelic crazy dreams. It's all still similar to like his approach to comic book movies. They need to be kind of grounded, but you can still play with them a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I just
I feel like the one that gets made fun of nowadays is Tenet, which
Yeah,
I've
but
not seen it,
it
so
it's the more confusing one, but it's like it's pretty much every criticism that everybody had about Inception. He just did the he did like he was like, all right, I'm gonna take all that criticism and I'm gonna make this one, and then everybody was like, I kind of see why you did it the first way.
yeah, why you did it the way you did it initially, as opposed to doing it the way Tenet does it.
Exactly, because in Inception, as you've seen, as the audience has probably seen, it's like 90% of it is like context and world building, and then you get to like the 40-minute action set piece that just keeps going and has multiple levels and stuff.
Yeah.
It's the same premise except he doesn't explain shit,
Yes.
or he or he explains shit so poorly, and as characters, even like the sound quality of what they're saying is hard to understand unless you have subtitles on purpose so that they're even more not clearly explaining stuff.
Right. And I think that kind of perfectly transitions into my first question here, which is how would you explain the concept of dream within a dream to someone who hasn't seen Inception?
There's multiple levels.
Because at least with Inception, like you were talking about, like it's explained insofar as it's made easy to comprehend because it's basically you're looking at it from the lens of this is a heist movie. So
And these are experts.
and these are experts and they're doing this thing where it's basically here's your dream and you can make somebody fall asleep in their dream to go further into their subconscious or into their
To
consciousness.
tricking their subconscious. But we're also using this apparatus that we kind of just yada yada explain how that works, but we'll explain the actual philosophical questions a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more about
Just for military testing.
yeah, Inception I think does a good job where it doesn't want to get too caught up in the science of it. Like not particularly that they're hand wavy and they're kind of blasé about it, but they are kind of like here's the bullet points, here's what you need to know, and so now like we're in it, and so we'll move on to the next thing. Um, and I think it introduces that concept really well. Like I really like that scene in the beginning of the movie where they're talking to Saito and Cobb
This
is
isn't the right card.
yeah yeah he wakes up from his dream and then he does the carpet bit and then he realizes he's in another dream. Um, so I thought that was a really good way of introducing the concept of a dream within a dream. And then it is kind of goofy though, because you don't like we as the viewers don't necessarily understand like the severity of it, but the plot progresses and then it's like, what if we did what we did earlier, but instead of a dream within a dream, we do a dream within a dream within another dream.
It's like the perfect trailer movie.
Yes. Yes. Because every scene
Leonardo DiCaprio.
yeah, Joseph
Is a dream.
Gordon-Levitt. He's a dream.
We gotta go
guy.
deep.
We have to go deeper.
Physics, bitch.
That's so funny. But yeah, no, I think it's, if you had to explain it to somebody, like if you had to explain the concept of what Inception is to somebody else, not Inception itself, but like the concept of a dream within a dream, I think you could just basically be like, I don't know if it's ever, I don't know if it's something that happens to people, but I think it would just be like, imagine you were dreaming and imagine if you fell asleep and then imagine if you kept dreaming. Like that's basically what it is.
Or just that you woke up and you were still in the dream.
Yeah, that's freaky. That's actually happened to me. That's pretty freaky when that
I don't
happens.
know. I was gonna say that sounds more like something that you could explain to somebody because I feel like that's happened to me also.
Yeah,
Like,
where you
like
think you wake up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Because I've done that getting ready for work and stuff.
Yes.
Where you're just like the alarm goes off and you must have hit snooze or something, but you thought you started getting ready, and then you're like, "Fuck, I'm still in bed."
Yeah, like I've dreamt that I got up, got ready, and was at work before I realized I was.
Oh, that's even worse.
Before I realized I was still asleep in bed.
Oh, that's tragic.
Yeah, I mean, luckily nothing bad happened, but that's basically what happened. Anyway,
Supposedly, how the idea for this movie came about.
Really?
Not exactly that, but Nolan said that they had free breakfast at college where he was, and he would stay up really late and then go to sleep really early and then wake up just enough time to go get breakfast and then come back and sleep for longer. And he said that he would start lucid dreaming, and that's where the idea for this came from.
Very interesting.
I might have paraphrased it a little bit, but I'm almost positive that was the gist of it.
I mean, that sounds about right. For what
I just seen,
somebody would come up with.
I had just seen an interview while I was researching.
Oh yeah, was it a nice interview?
He's very posh.
That's nice. That's good to hear. Did you find the dream levels confusing or easy to follow, and why? Because we go pretty deep in this movie.
Like when I was younger, it definitely lost the plot on me a few times, but I still always was like, I love it. Like I watched this and The Prestige when I was probably too young to fully grasp all the concepts that they were trying to throw at me.
Right.
Because I liked the Batman movies so much but I feel like I saw The Prestige around the time it came out. But I do find it simpler now that I'm an adult, of course. But it's around the Limbo I get a little confused still sometimes.
Right. Yeah. And
where I'm like, how does the beach work? How did he find Saito?
Yeah, like they never explain how he found Saito. They just show
kind of gets there.
He just finds him. Yeah, it's pretty interesting how that kind of plays out. Because Saito's in. Because it gets to
like in deep limbo.
He's like in a deeper version of limbo. So you like if you die in limbo, you go to limbo.
Well, I think he just died on one of the original levels. Because he gets shot on like the first level, right? And then all the way down, the time's going slower, so that's why he's not dying in those levels yet.
Right. But
then once he did kind of die, they just threw him into limbo.
He died in the level right before limbo, so he went to limbo. So then see, that's where it gets confusing because then it's like,
That's what. Yeah.
did Leonardo DiCaprio's character, was he in the limbo? He broke it off with Maul, which, by the way, if you don't know what the fuck we're talking about, we're not gonna explain the plot. Like, you just have to have seen the movie to keep up with us.
It's too much to explain.
Yeah.
It's Inception. It's 15 years old. Get on the board.
Get on it. Like in the same so in the limbo, he meets with Maul and breaks it off with Maul, and basically like breaks her control over him. Was that also the same level in which he found old Saito, or did he have to go? He would have had to have found Saito there, because there was no way for him to go deeper.
Yeah.
Because don't they explain that
like
limbo is the
crazy.
deepest you can go?
Yeah. He seems like, his eyes are all bloodshot and he's like starving and stuff. Like he could have been down there for like 100 years at that point, just searching every nook and cranny.
Yeah.
Because we don't see him jump off the building like they do.
No, yeah. Yeah, because who else was it that was there? They found. Oh yeah, they were looking for Cillian Murphy's character because he had died and went to limbo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're like, Saito's still down here.
And that's when Cobb goes off to find Saito. Cobb being Leo DiCaprio. But yeah, so that's really the only part where it gets like confusing, is when you get to limbo. And really, when you kind of get to really any of the stuff having to do with Maul, I always found was kind of confusing. Like, what is Maul in Cobb's subconscious?
This
like,
is subconscious.
Like they just call it his.
It's just kind of like guilt personified,
right? Like, she's the voice in his head that keeps telling him to end his life, I guess, so that he can be with her, or that he can get out of the dream.
Well, this is where one of my favorite theories comes in.
Okay.
Is that Elliot Page character is really there to see if he killed his wife or not.
What do you mean, like as a projection of subconscious, or as like a plant fried like the government or whoever?
Yeah, that she's like a plant, and that really they're not doing an Inception. They're doing the original Extraction thing that they were doing at the beginning of the movie. That there was no Inception at all.
Oh, like there was no plan. Like the whole Cillian Murphy plan was like a red herring.
It's just all a big illusion. Yeah, and that they're really there that the Elliot Page character is really there to see if he killed his wife, and that when he comes back to the States and stuff, it's because he's been exonerated for real.
Okay, I got you. That makes sense. Kind of as a way to
it's just one of the theories.
Kind of as a way to like get his confession almost.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I've never heard that theory before.
It was just one of the ones that I had read when I was doing the research. I was like, oh, that's a new little wrinkle.
Yeah, I think the only thing that might put a pin in that is we know that Elliot Page's character is a student of Michael Caine in the movie.
Yeah, but he could have organized the whole thing.
He could have. I don't know. You basically have to like start worrying about like where the origins for that come into play. But
exactly.
No, I agree. It's fascinating. It's fascinating.
But I also like that it's also kind of based on like a film crew is another thing I was reading. That like each character like represents a different part of the film career that you could have. Like Leonardo DiCaprio's the director. He needed a new writer. Like there's the producers. There's like the casting. Like there's all the different things you could put on the different characters in the movie. Was another little thing I read.
Right. That makes sense. You know, like Tom Hardy's character is like a writer. That's like his role in the movie. Elliot Page is they call him the architect, but yeah, that's fascinating. I like that one too. And then of course
just another little wrinkle.
You get into like the big theory here, What do you think actually happened at the end? Was Cobb still dreaming or not?
Well, and then this is one of the most confused, one of the parts of the movie that it's not confusing, but I'm confused on what it's supposed to mean because they tell you throughout the movie that you're never supposed to let somebody touch your totem, but Cobb is using his dead wife's totem, so does it even count?
Correct. That is a good point.
But that's the one thing that always trips me up, only because I'm not sure what he's trying to say by constantly telling you this thing and then him doing the opposite the whole time.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's
But I
character
like
tried to explain it by saying that if you touch somebody else's totem, then it defeats the purpose of it being something that's like intrinsic to you.
exactly, but we also see that Leo touches it while she's still alive, which is kind of what ruins it in the first place.
Right. So it could be that him touching her totem. Well, because I mean that's part of like that's part of like the original Inception that he talks about, right? Like the Inception
Yeah,
that he plants the
exactly.
idea that
She was always that nothing was real.
yeah that the place that they found themselves, the limbo, because she wanted to stay in limbo.
Yeah. And so he planted the idea that nothing was real, but when she woke up, she still had that idea in her head.
And that's why she ended up jumping out of that window.
Because she thought that because the inception was still happening, that got her out of the original dream levels.
There's levels to this.
So she
Man.
thought that she was still dreaming.
Yeah. But so basically, like it was an inception where she took the idea and went too far with it, which is tragic, obviously. But
all of this to say,
yes.
I like to think that he's not dreaming and that he actually got away with all of it, and he got to see his kids because it does wobble a little bit.
It does wobble. I did notice the wobble on this watch through. Like I thought it was going to be like more Sopranos style, where it just like cuts in the middle of like the beginning of its spin. Like you'll never get to know whether or not it wobbles or not. But I think the wobble for me is kind of proof that
it's telling you something. It wouldn't have wobbled at all if he wanted to.
Although you could look at it as like here's the only pin in that kind of like creates a bit of a hurdle, is that he doesn't stay to watch it fall.
Well, that's the other thing I saw in an interview that I thought was interesting.
What's that?
Is somebody was asking him about it a few years after the movie came out, and he goes, I think it's less important that if it wobbles or not, and more important that Leo doesn't care if it wobbles or not.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, that's actually a really interesting. Of course, the director has a really interesting take on his own scene, but
yeah,
that's not something I had thought about until much later.
Because throughout the entirety of the film, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, anytime he's checking
it,
yeah, he checks the top, but anytime he's about to see his kids' faces in a dream or something, he turns away.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knows it's not real, or he doesn't want to see their faces and then get trapped in the dream, because he knows if he sees their faces after not seeing them for so long, he's going to want to stay.
Sucked in.
Yeah. And so once he sees their faces at the end of the movie, that's when he stops caring about the top. And he just wants to be with them. So then it becomes this issue of, did he unintentionally trap himself? It's very fascinating. It's honestly, I can't remember a time, and this always seems to happen with Leonardo DiCaprio movies, but it's hard to remember a time when there was an ending in modern history, in modern cinema, that left audiences constantly questioning what really happened. Like it really transcended the zeitgeist of popular culture and had everybody wondering, was he still dreaming or not?
Oh, it's just so good. And
Yeah.
then the bong.
Yeah, the Hans Zimmer. Yeah. Um, so let's go ahead and get into characters and motivations. Do you think Cobb was a sympathetic character? Why or why not?
Uh, it's one of those like he's just one of those damaged guys. I'm not sure if he's quite sympathetic or that I'm rooting for him, but towards the end you kind of are, just because you're like, man, he's just been running this whole time.
Yeah.
I
Because
don't know if I would say I'm sympathetic, not be the right word, but
well,
you
because
are
it's
kind of
like
like on his.
well, it's like you're asking yourself the question here, like what am I being sympathetic towards? What am I sympathizing
Yeah,
with? A guy who was wrongly accused of a crime he didn't commit. Um, because I mean, his wife really fucked him right before her death.
yeah, but I mean, who started it? Yeah.
I guess, yeah. No, but I mean, like, I sympathize to a degree where I'm like, um, okay, here's a guy who's just had his whole life kind of like ripped apart, and he's trying to like make sense of it and kind of like get back to his kids. Because as I sympathize with the fact that he's a parent that can't see his kids. As a father myself, I couldn't imagine living in a world where I'm just like, man, I have to be on the other side of the planet just because I can't even go back to the States to see my own kids.
Which is the kind of part that you are rooting for the most.
Yeah. That's what makes the ending so much more impactful and questionable, because then you're like, the thing you want the most is for Cobb to go home and see his kids. That's like the main thing. And so when it finally happens, even us as the audience are like, fuck yeah, here's the kids, let's go hang out with them. And then when the camera cuts back to the top, that's when we're like, oh shit, the movie's trying to make us question if he's still dreaming or not. And that's when you're like, ah, fuck. But
Ah, it's just so good.
it's good. It's good. Um, what do you think of Maul as a character? And do you think she was
I
truly the
love it.
do you think she was truly the villain of the story? Because if you assume
I
Maul
mean,
is the villain, then it makes Cobb the villain as well.
exactly. It's why that's why it's kind of like one of those weird things where it's his own guilt is the villain, his own decisions, his own past.
Yeah.
He has to overcome, which is also why I find the Killian Murphy storyline so interesting. Is they just like randomly give this guy an emotional breakthrough while he's on a plane?
Yeah. Yeah. Like he wakes up from
Like,
a 16-hour flight and he's just like, "Damn, I really love my daddy."
I didn't before, but I feel like I have had so much emotional breakthrough.
Damn, that was a crazy dream. And then he doesn't recognize any of the people that he saw in his dream next to him.
Well, he kind of looks up at Leo weird.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is true. Um I don't know. The Maul character for me is just kind of I still am trying to like wrap my head around the fact that she's a personification of his subconscious that's like so advanced that she can throw a hitch into basically the whole architecture of the dreams they're trying to make. Like initially the hitch was the dream security, the Inception security. Um, that was implemented by Killian Murphy's character, because in this fictitious world, the technology to steal people's dreams is like very real. So it makes sense that people would have security to fend off against that. So I like how like that's what initially throws a hitch in their plans. But then as time goes on, it's Leonardo DiCaprio Cobb's subconscious that starts throwing a hitch into things, and is where Maul kind of like comes in and starts being like the main villain. And it's just really interesting because during the scene in Limbo where he's talking to Maul, you kind of wrap your head around the fact that he's not talking to Maul, he's talking to himself. And he finally finds a way to let go of her so that he can move on to his ultimate goal, which is going back to his kids, which is really what their goal was in the first place during the initial Inception. It's just really fascinating.
Interesting. Because it all really doesn't happen in a very long period of time, but it's just because of all the different dream levels and stuff that time moves differently.
Yeah, and even then, it's
Like
taking place over the course of like a few hours, maybe.
no, and it's just wonderful. Uh, yeah, it's but like earlier in the movie, and we see that that's why they need the Elliot Page character because Leonardo DiCaprio's guilt is getting too much, where she's just popping up everywhere.
Yeah,
But I think that's more just because he has such an advanced, because he's been doing all this dreaming stuff, and they were like gods and stuff. The mall personification, like that's why it's so powerful. It's
yeah,
because he's been doing all kinds of weird shit in his brain.
yeah. That makes sense. Um, which character's arc stood out to you the most? I think you already brought it up. The Cillian Murphy emotional breakthrough. Um,
I just think it's so interesting that that's like in the middle of this movie.
like in the middle of Cobb's like mental gymnastics he's putting up with, you have Cillian Murphy's like emotional father son dichotomy that he's trying to like work his way through. Like he's trying to do some he's trying to work through his father's expectations, his father's death, and the fact that his father probably actually really loved him and he never accepted it. Like it's almost that in and of itself could be a whole movie.
I know. That's why I'm like, it's like you can, like, I could personally just watch, like, just that whole, like, from the time they get into the first dream until they get Killian to that moment. Like, that is, in and of itself is, like, the movie to me. I just think it's so interesting. It's like 2001 A Space Odyssey, like, the way that the room is set up and stuff, and the
Yeah.
way that the set up the picture throughout. Anytime that Killian Murphy's on screen, we've seen that picture with the little windmill thing, and then the second that the windmill is what's in the safe, you're just like, it just all makes so much sense. It's so well written and put together.
Yeah.
Even and then it's also explained. Like it's so crazy that they explained it so well that while there's like five levels of dreams happening, that like the windmill is something that is just universally understood by all of the setup.
Yeah. Like you don't even need that much explanation for it. Like you see like a picture and then you see the windmill and then you're like, wow, I get it, you know? Masterful. Masterful storytelling.
I just love it.
Yeah. Let's get into a bit of kind of touched on it a little bit already, but we'll go ahead and get into some themes and philosophy. This might be some heavy stuff, so we'll try not to like spend too much time on it, but what do you think Inception says about the nature of reality? And this kind of also ties into the question of, do you think the movie suggests that we can never really know what's real?
Partially that, but I also feel like for me, one of the main themes of the movie is that your reality is what you shape it.
And there is a lot of shaping reality in this movie, so that makes sense.
There is, and it shows that like when the Elliot Page character is first introduced, that he's all about like he just like is like a natural at it or whatever, but Leo is very scared to like see where that goes and like very quick to be like, oh, you can't do that. That's not how that works, and how his reality has been so tarnished or whatever. But like Tom Hardy's character is still like, oh, you got to dream bigger, darling.
Yeah. Oh, darling, you have to dream bigger.
I was merely born in the dark,
Dude,
molded by it.
that's too funny.
I didn't see the light until I was a man, and by then it was nothing to me but blindness.
Oh, great stuff. But yeah, no, I think the movie suggests we can never really know it's real, just simply based on the idea that not only can reality be shaped by people, but it basically begs the question of do you even want to know what's real? As we talked about with like Cobb's character meeting with his kids, like once he finally sees them, does he even care about what's real anymore? He's with his kids. He's accomplished the thing he wants to accomplish.
Then there's also all of the talks of paradoxes.
Yes, the paradoxes, the stairs, stuff like that. Um, just implementing things like that into the plot can lead more into those questions of what's real, what do I know about reality, what do I truly understand about the concept of reality, um, which then I think also leads into my next question of um, can you think of any parallels between dreams in the movie and the real world concept of memory or trauma? Because if you think about it, all Cobb is doing is working through the trauma he experienced from his wife's death.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's also what Killian's doing because we see his character in real life being very stuck up and snobby, but within his dreams, he's very, very emotional and damaged. And I just think it's interesting that like the Leonardo DiCaprio character had all of these buildings and stuff in like he just has all of this within his subconscious or whatever.
Yeah.
But then in reality he's always like checking to see what's real or whatever where you're just like, does it even matter?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're
Yeah.
just surfing through it all the time.
Certainly some big brain stuff going on here, and it definitely goes over my head for the most part. But you know, far be it from me to say that I'm one of the people that is like capable of discussing the major philosophical questions involved in Inception. I'm just a guy that likes movies. Um, but it's fascinating to think
That's
about.
just why that's why I just thought it'd be a fun one because it's a real brain picker sometimes.
It is. It really is. It kind of goes beyond the realm of just being an action movie. I feel like, um, and it kind of just
Had
like,
to have some prestige on here.
yeah. I wonder. Yeah, it's just interesting. Anyway, um, let's get into some filmmaking and technique questions. What did you think of Hans Zimmer's score and how it contributed to the mood?
I really, really enjoyed the like ending hopeful song that they have throughout it, and
Right.
then like especially at the end. Uh, I think that the the big like subwoofer boom has been just meme to death that I kind of find it funny whenever it's happening in the movie.
Right.
Like I get that it's the first song just slowed down a bunch of times, but it's just like I just find it funny now. But I really, really like the on the first level, whatever that French song that they're playing or Italian song that they're playing throughout.
Yeah.
Really enjoy that, and then the ending song.
Yeah. It improves the mood. It really it's effective. It's a trendsetter. Hans Zimmer knows what he's doing. I'm one of those types of people. I'm not like super musically inclined, so I'm not like I don't know a whole lot about scores and stuff like that. Most of the time, I don't even pay attention, which is a fault I have. But I just like that. I just think it's
Silly.
interesting. Yeah. But like you said, the memes kind of is the first thing I think of whenever I think of Hans Zimmer, especially when I think about his score in Man of Steel, where it's
Oh,
just like,
really?
oh yeah, because it's constant, just. Bwah.
I haven't watched that one in a while.
Yeah, well, good. Um,
Good.
yeah. Did I tell you? Did I tell you I'm thinking about watching the new Superman tonight?
Have you not seen it yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Pretty good. It's way more sentimental.
Well, that's perfect for me because I'm not a sentimental kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, way more compared to Man of Steel, of course. There's still good stuff in there.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
still fart jokes.
Good.
Don't you
Yeah.
worry.
Don't. Oh, thank God. I needed some of those. Anyway, um, I'll get
Get
into.
that James Gunn energy, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of know what you're getting when you're getting a James Gunn movie.
Yeah,
Just like you
very Guardians.
just like you kind of know what you're getting when you're getting a Christopher Nolan movie.
Exactly. Or
Um,
how ridiculous it he will present it as if it is a work of art, and that's what I appreciate about Christopher Nolan.
yeah, exactly. Like no matter
He'll
how
make you
out
believe.
there it is.
You'll
Uh,
accept it by the end of the movie, even
you
Interstellar.
you'll think you'll feel smart too.
Oh yeah,
You'll feel like you just discovered something.
and that's why he's just a teacher, is all he is.
Oh my
You
god,
know.
this is so cringe. So
No, yeah, super cringe. I like his movies. I still think I like Shyamalan a little bit more.
oh my god. Mr. Signs lover over here.
I fucking love Signs. Oh my god, what a movie!
You're so funny.
The Village. I don't care what anybody says. The Village is a good one movie.
I tell you what, whenever I do my next podcast series where we just talk about stuff, I'll let you just talk about Shyamalan.
Dude, I mean, if we're gonna do the schlock one, you can count all of his movies as that. There's like even
Yeah,
the good
true.
ones.
True. Lady in the Water is definitely very schlocky though.
Oh yeah, like even like he, Sean, off topic. Shyamalan said recently that he is the greatest. He is the greatest B movie director, and I'm like, yes, 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 you are. You
I,
make
I
really
don't know.
good B movies.
I don't know. Roger Corman's kind of like known for that.
But he's saying that he makes the best of them.
I guess. Um,
He's like, I'm right before you get to A. I'm the gatekeeper of A.
yeah, probably. For modern audiences, I'd say so. Probably. He's like
Yeah,
the only guy I can think of who can get a big budget movie and like the budget for a big budget film and turn it into the schlock he does.
hey, that's why he's just been getting little budgets and doing it, producing it, and everything himself. He's got his own company and everything. Shyamalan knows what he's doing.
He knows.
Anyways, back to the director of the Odyssey that he's doing this next year.
Yeah. Um, let's not do that. Um,
You don't want to go see the Odyssey?
I will. I'll definitely see it. I'll definitely watch it. I'll watch it.
Christopher
Oh,
Nolan's The Odyssey.
I'll watch it with you.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, were there any scenes where the special effects really stood out to you? I think we already talked about the. For me, it was the scene where the gravity goes haywire and the room starts spinning around.
Oh yeah, it's the best. He puts him in a chokehold.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I think you cut
No,
out
yeah.
there for a second, so I didn't hear the rest of that chokehold statement.
I was just saying that he puts him in a chokehold and they roll around on the ceiling and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was good.
I thought there was a weird.
Yep, there was. Were there any other sequences that kind of stood out to you, special effects wise?
I really like when they're skiing in the snow level and the whole building explodes.
Oh yeah, that's good. That was a
I
good.
just
That
think
was a
it
good.
looks really cool.
That was a good explosion.
Most of the skiing stuff I find real fun, like when Tom Hardy's messing with all of the different people on the snow plows and the dream soldiers and stuff.
Yeah, that is good.
Oh, that's real good stuff.
I kind of forget about that. As like that's a really good action set piece too. Is like going down the
I
mountainside.
was trying to tell you. I was trying to tell you. I'm sure it's on record somewhere.
I bet. Um, how do you think the editing helped or hindered the storytelling? This is a very interesting question.
I think it's really well. I really enjoy cross-cutting, like the way that Christopher Nolan has become famous for like showing you four storylines at once by the climax of a story.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I like TV shows do it really well sometimes, where you're just going the editing like it's just for like if you just watched it, it would probably be like four different 20-minute movies. But instead, he's just putting them all together, and by the time that it all comes together, you're just like, ah, that's beautiful. I love how this looks.
Yeah.
This feels.
Yeah, I don't really know. The editing, I I think the biggest thing that works for me with the editing is that scene where Leo's talking to Elliot Page and they're talking and then all of a sudden they're at that cafe
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
that's really seamless.
and it works within the confines of the story and within the kind of world they're trying to set up because when Leo is talking to Elliot, he says he's explaining what's happening, like what one of the goals of them trying to do is like you never realize you're in a dream. You never start your dream at the beginning of a dream. You're always put right in the middle of the story. And then he asks Elliot Page, he's like, "How did we get to this cafe?" And that for
You
me,
remember getting here?
exactly like, how do you remember getting to this cafe? And Elliot's just like, "Well, we just came from but the
Where
you
did we just come from?
exactly." And then
France?
that's when it dawns on him and he's like, "Oh, we're dreaming. We're in a dream right now." And so I thought that was a really like seamless way of introducing cuz how oftentimes, people will be having a conversation and then it, cuts and they're somewhere else continuing that same conversation, but it makes sense for this movie to have a moment where with the editing it cuts and then now we're in another section of the movie, but we're not just in another area, we are in a dream and it's playing into the story and it's doing something cool, and I really appreciate that.
Which is really funny because Nolan does that a lot in his movies, where characters will be walking in one area and then their conversation continues when they're clearly like 100 miles away from where that conversation started.
Yeah.
So it's fun that he's even. It's almost like he's meta talking about it as well within his movie, where he's just like, "You ever notice that sometimes I'll just show the characters somewhere else? You ever wonder how that happens? Because I got you in a dream.
Yeah, I got you. I was over
I
here,
got you."
now I'm over here. Yeah, no, it's pretty funny. Let's get into some personal reactions and opinions. What was your favorite scene and why?
It's. I feel like I've already said it, but I feel like it's the Cillian Murphy scene. Good
Oh,
actor.
like the final scene between him and his like fictional father.
Yes.
That was a good scene, man. I mean, yeah, we already talked about it, but yeah, that was a good
While everything's
scene.
exploding and stuff, Kiddo's dying in the corner.
Yeah. No, yeah,
Tom
I don't.
Hardy's like, "You need to go."
Yeah, yeah. Need to get out of here. That was good. Um, so let me think here. My favorite scene, I think, has got to be the scene where Maul jumps out of the window.
Going dark.
I like that scene. I like it because of Leo's reaction to it. Just like his like, oh, oh God, Jesus Christ, like, just like the way he's so guttural about it. Like, he just watched the love of his life. It reminds me of that scene going back to Cliffhanger of when of when
They
the
must have watched it.
of when the lady slips out of Sylvester Stallone's grip and she like falls all the way down the mountain and dies. I get that same vibe where like Leo was like on the cusp of helping her and then she jumped and then he lost everything all in one go. Like she died, he lost his access to his kids, he lost his life, his friends, he lost everything in that moment. And like the way it just cuts back to that scene, oh my god, it gives me chills, dude. That was such a good scene.
I'm glad you enjoyed this watch through. It's so much fun. It's a
Yeah,
good
it
movie.
was a good movie.
Uh,
Um, did
I
Inception
also want to throw in
change?
on.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
go
was
ahead.
just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that I also want to throw an honorable mention to when they go to the sleep factory thing, where the people just sleep all day
Oh
because they
yeah,
like being
they prefer the dream
in there
world.
more than. That's just so cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
It's it's a It's like almost unnecessary, but I'm glad that that's like a touch that they threw in for world building more than anything, and to get the super powerful serum.
Yeah, that's true. That. I forgot about that, but that was good. Um, did Inception change the way you think about dreams? I'm gonna say no.
I think I was gonna say I don't think so, but it made me want to be able to lucid dream and stuff and see if you could mess around. Of course, not to that extent, but if you could if even just make the subject matter.
Yeah, I used to be able to lucid dream like when I was a kid, but I lost the ability as I got older.
You just lost your imagination.
I think so. Um, like I remember one time when I was a kid, I had a dream where I was like, I was in the dream, I was doing my dream stuff, and then I was like, I'm gonna start doing jumping jacks, and I started doing jumping jacks. And this might not be the same as lucid dreaming, but this is just something I found was really like interesting. I was doing jumping jacks in my dream, and then I woke up in bed, and my arms were like moving like jumping jacks. So I just thought that was really funny. Anyway, um, totally non sequitur. Um, would you watch the movie again, and do you think it requires multiple viewings to fully understand? I think you already talked about how like when you were a kid, you had to watch it, a couple times before you got it. Um, but do you think you would recommend it to other people? I guess I'll reword the question to would you recommend it to other people, and do you think with the knowledge that you might have to watch it multiple times to get it, how does that affect your recommendation?
I would definitely recommend it. I feel like you would get it the first time around, but it's one of those movies that you would appreciate more the more you watch it. I don't necessarily think you would need to watch it to fully grasp the idea, or at least the basics of it, and
Right,
understand at least the main points of the movie.
right.
You might not see all of the little details and stuff, but that's okay. I feel like most people could watch this and get the main meat and potatoes.
Yeah, because I mean, because that's assuming everybody's, you know, we're all adults here. We can understand movies. We're not stupid, so I get that. Let's get into some
Quite a
speculation.
different movie.
Yeah, let's get into some speculation and interpretations. Um, let's see here. I don't know if I like any of these questions. Okay, if you had to design your own dream world, what would it look like?
Feel like it would be a lot of tree houses and just stuff that you wouldn't necessarily be able to keep up with or make as easily in the real world. But I'm talking like massive tree houses.
Right, like redwood forest type tree houses.
Talking like what the Ewoks be living in.
Oh shit, not the Ewoks.
Yeah, the Ewoks, they're living in the trees, buddy.
The tree, they're in the trees.
They're in the trees. Woody!
Hey, that means you should play Star Wars Unlimited with me. So
Are you talking about your card games?
yeah, talking about our card games,
That's
cuz
that's so lame.
no, you're pretty lame if you don't like card games.
Star out of all the card games that you've been buying, Star Wars card games, I was like, this guy. It's like watching somebody who is really into poker gambling start buying scratch offs.
Like it's just really pathetic at a certain point.
Yeah.
Like he's
You're
not.
just like, man,
You're
he'll
like,
just rip open
yeah, you're like he's not interested in actually playing the games. He's just addicted to
the
cards.
feeling.
Yeah, he just wants to feel something. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. For me, my dream world would probably look very crystal-like.
It would
Um,
just be opening cards.
it would just be opening cards. There's cards everywhere.
All you see is sleeves.
Oh my god, sleeves, deck box. I'm about to buy a new deck box, honestly, and it's gonna be like a big.
Jeez.
It's gonna be this big deck box that holds like 3,000 cards, so I can put my Magic the
Oh my
Gathering
goodness.
cards and my Star Wars cards and my Ward cards in there.
I hate you.
Because I've still got my
Just
I've still got my one backpack dedicated to Yu-Gi-Oh. That's never gonna change. But I've got like a fat stack of Star Wars Unlimited cards here that are just wrapped up with a rubber band, waiting to be put into a home.
That's so funny.
And my Ward cards are in a Ziploc bag. They want a home. I've got two decks of Magic the Gathering cards, but I feel like I can fit them into the deck box as well, and that way they don't just take up space by themselves.
Well, it's a good thing nobody cares about Magic the Gathering.
Except it's actually even Magic the Gathering doesn't care about Magic the Gathering.
Exactly. It's one of the most popular games ever. Who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit? I don't know, man. That new Spider-Man set's coming out, and then they've got later this year they're coming out with Avatar: The Last Airbender Magic the Gathering cards.
The only ones I want are the Godzilla ones.
They're expensive, dude.
I know, and that's the problem with Magic the Gathering and all of these fucking card games. That's why I support Ward.
Yes, because it is a cheap alternative. Ward, PSA to anybody that doesn't play card games out there: if you don't play card games, Ward is a good card game for you because it is just awesome. Anyway,
Find me more Ward cards. Anyways,
yes,
let's finish up this Inception.
Finish.
Because I've been trying to steal this idea from your head, or I've been trying to plant this idea in your head that this is a good movie and that it's a great action movie.
Yes, and that is a good way
Does
to
it
wrap
work?
up. Real quick, last question is: how would you use Inception in real life? Would you use it ethically or unethically? Inception,
Oh, I would unethically put bad ideas in your head all the time.
like you do right now. Like nothing's changed.
No, it's just I'm not doing it to your face anymore. I'm going to your brain.
Oh yeah, you're hooking me on
I'm just
all
gonna.
these bad ideas.
I know. I made you play Yu-Gi-Oh. That's
Yeah.
my first Inception.
Oh yeah, that was
I thought,
awful. How dare you do that to me?
how did that start? Uh, let's see. What other terrible things have I made you watch or
You
enjoy?
tried to convince me that RoboCop was a bad movie. That failed. That was an Inception failure.
Take. That's whenever somebody gets me to they try to pursue me to incept you with an idea, and I'm like, I tried once. It didn't take. It didn't go well. Still thinks that RoboCop's a good film.
Yeah. And then yeah, I think that was it. I can't really remember anything else.
We gotta watch some more movies. What's the next movie?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Man, so we're coming up close. I think this is number 33, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. Have you posted
No,
everything?
Cliffhanger was 33. This is 34, so we've only got 6 movies after this to do. I think the
I
next.
feel like
What'd you say?
I was gonna say I feel like I've picked a few of them lately, so we need
Yeah,
you in here.
you did Cliffhanger and you did Inception. I did It Man and Lethal Weapon. And then before that you did Avatar. So I'll pick the next one. I think the next one we should do is John Wick.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I think we should do John Wick next. Um, I don't know if you have access to that movie or not.
I'll find it.
I was about to say I've got it on my YouTube. I bought it like some years back.
Oh, you have it on YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube movies.
That's so funny.
I thought you would like that.
I have a bunch of movies on Amazon, but that's I forgot that people used to buy movies on YouTube or even on Xbox and stuff. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, that's how it used to get done. Like back like some years ago, this was when John Wick Chapter 4 first dropped, and we were watching. This was right before actually. This was right before John Wick Chapter 4 dropped, and Zeta and I were doing a movie marathon. I was like, let's watch the John Wick trilogy. And so I bought all 3 of the John Wick movies that were out at the time. on my YouTube because I didn't have because I used my friend's Amazon Prime, and this was before he let me use his Amazon Prime, so I didn't have Prime to use, so I just used what he YouTube. Let me see here if John Wick's currently streaming on anything. Bring all the boys to the yard, damn right. They're better than yours, damn right. They're better than yours. I can teach you, but I'd have to charge. It's on Hulu right now.
I'm in.
Yep. Yep, it's on Hulu and Disney Plus. So we can watch that. That'll be the next movie we do. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do after that because we've got like 5. After that, we've still got 5 movies to fill out. So we'll figure out how to do that. But yeah, that's about it from us. Inception, good movie, highly recommended. But yeah, hopefully this will go up next day on YouTube. I say that all the time, but usually it takes me a couple of days. But hopefully that won't be the case. Anyway, that's going to be it.
Just a couple days.
Just
Just a couple days.
just a little bit. Anyway,
Get out of here.
let's get out of here. Bye.